Applications for the 2024-2026 cohort is now open. Classes are taught Fridays and Saturdays in Durango. Find out more. Email Janelle.Doughy, Doughty, at du.edu or du.edu/socialwork/Four Corners.
Twelve minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 14th day of May, 2024. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast all the time at 103.3 FM. And if you're anywhere else on the planet and want to tune in and hear what we're up to, just go to our website to listen. That's ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us this morning. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. I'm glad that you are with us because this morning, my guest from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, Jamie Church, will be here in just a moment. And she's brought with her some of her fellow classmates from Leadership San Juan. And they're all here to tell us about the community projects that they have completed as part of their Leadership San Juan experience this year. It's going to be a great program, so stay tuned for that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then we'll check in with Amber Francisco this morning at 8:50 a.m. It's our Adopt a Pet Tuesday segment. She will be telling us about all the pets available for adoption this week, including Fred. That is the dog you see on the screen enjoying the pool already. We'll learn more about Fred coming up today at 8:50 a.m. right here on KSJE. Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts, our daily classical music program after the news at 9:06. And if you're a podcast person, we remind you that KSJE publishes podcasts, and they're available wherever you're listening to podcasts. So subscribe to for free and discover a new program that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a sunny Tuesday morning, already 54 degrees. We're expecting a partly sunny day today, the high 74. Partly cloudy overnight with a low of 55. Tomorrow, partly sunny once again with a high of 72. Sunshine, 73 on Thursday, warming up to 78 by Friday, 81 with sunshine on Saturday and 80 degrees with sunshine on Sunday, and overnight lows staying pretty much in the 50s. I'll be back with my guests with more right after this on KSJE.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, whose vision is to deliver world-class care, making life better for the communities they are privileged to serve. Offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so residents can live life better here. San Juan Regional Medical Center, community-owned and operated, here for you. KSJE is supported by the University of Denver Graduate School of Social Work Four Corners program. The University of Denver offers a Master's of Social Work degree in the Four Corners community. Applications for the 2024-2026 cohort is now open. Classes are taught Fridays and Saturdays in Durango. Find out more. Email Janelle.Doughy, Doughty, at du.edu or du.edu/socialwork/Four Corners. KSJE is supported by the River Reach Foundation, presenting Riverfest this Memorial Day weekend in Farmington. Music, crafts, food, and more can be found along the Animas River trails in Farmington. Riverfest kicks off Friday afternoon, May 24th, and continues Saturday and Sunday. Celebrate the rivers in Farmington with this jolt-worthy event. Find out more online at riverfestnewmexico.com. Riverfest, presented by the River Reach Foundation.
And back in Studio A this morning with my guest, as I mentioned, from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Jamie Church is back with me for her regular visit. Good morning, fellow salsa judge.
Yes, good morning, fellow salsa judge.
That's the last time I saw you, anyway, when we were together doing that.
Yeah, that's right. And then I rushed home to watch the Kentucky Derby.
That's right.
And I was kind of sad I didn't put in a bet for the win, place, and show. I would have.
You could have done all right?
I would have, yeah.
Well,
Forever Young came in second.
Okay.
That would have been my horse. Anyway, yeah, it was fun. Salsa and then the Kentucky Derby.
There you go. But today we're talking
Yes.
about the Chamber and some other events, too, because
Yes.
of your involvement with Leadership San Juan, which we'll talk about in a moment, too.
Yes.
But a couple events happening with the Chamber, though. Let's start there.
All right, so we've got coming up on the 31st, the last day of May, we have our Focus on Farmington Coffee. And again, these happen once a month in different locations around our community. They're always free, and anyone in the community is welcome to attend. These are not strictly a Chamber of Commerce event. And this time we're happy to be in the beautiful Healing Gardens at San Juan Regional Medical Center. And some of you might have been there when they very first put in those gardens, but as gardens do, they mature over time as the plants mature. And
Sure.
and so that is going to be a beautiful spot to have that. So that's coming up on Friday, May 31st at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Open to everybody.
So-
Bring a
and
friend.
yes,
Bring
open,
5 friends.
yeah. Especially those people that you know that are either new to your neighborhood, to the community, to your workplace. So you've got somebody that's just moved here. They don't really know anybody. This is the perfect opportunity to bring them to something. Again, this is not a chamber thing. We're not asking them to join anything or sign anything. It's just we want to help them get connected to the community.
Right.
And we think over a cup of coffee is a great way to do that. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that is going on Friday, May 31st.
Okay.
The last day of May.
Very cool.
Yep.
And,
then we
that'll
follow that. I'm sorry.
I was going to say it'd be a nice morning and the beautiful
Yeah, it'll be
weather
beautiful. Oh,
end
I'm
of
sure it
May,
will.
and
And
be
my
outside in the
coffee's
garden. So
it'll be
yes,
perfect.
all
Yeah,
those
it'll
good
be
things.
perfect.
And then
And then
Yes,
we
in early
followed that
June.
up right on the heels of that is our 2024 Business to Business Expo. That is coming up June 6th at the Farmington Civic Center. And this year, we did this last year sort of in conjunction with the Women's Summit, which is in November. But I was trying to test the waters a little bit with the Business to Business Expo and decide how's this going to go? What's the reaction? And it was very well received. So I thought this is big enough to be its own standalone event. So we've moved it to June, and the doors open at 11 a.m. It is free and open to the public. So we have 40 different businesses and nonprofits who have vendor booths, and they'll open at 11, and then it's free and open to the public. At the door, you'll get a bingo card, a business-to-business bingo card. You can go along and get your card stamped. And then following the Business to Business Expo, starting at right around 4:30 or 5, we have a business after hours in the same space.
Right.
The vendors
How
are
convenient.
still I know. I think about these things.
Right.
The vendors are still going to be set up. We'll have live music. Ryan Woodard is coming in. Clancy's will be there with food and a cash bar. And so then we'll go right into a business after hours, keep doing the bingo cards, and then during business after hours, we will draw and give away the door prizes that the different vendors are going to be donating. Yeah.
Very cool.
So again, this is free and open to the public. As far as the vendor booths go, I think we're pretty much sold out. But if you want to know if you can get a vendor booth, call me at the chamber.
Okay.
I'll look and see if we can squeeze you in. But anyway, this is a great opportunity for businesses not only to market to each other and connect to see what the other businesses in town are doing, but also look at potential or perhaps meet potential clients and customers for their business. So again, June 6th.
Okay.
So at the Farmington Civic
A
Center.
full day.
A full day.
At the Civic Center,
yes,
right? And,
yes, absolutely.
And are all these booths going to be inside? Will some be outside?
No, they're all going to be inside.
Okay. All right.
And so the whole ballroom area will have the
Sure.
vendor booths along the perimeter and then in the middle. And then there will be a couple in the foyer as well, our sponsors, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of get that first placement. But I think it's going to be great. And then having that business after hours, that's going to bring in a whole different crowd of people that then are going to be also continuing to do some networking and connecting with these businesses.
Right.
And again, that's what we're all about at the Chamber. I know we do a lot of things like chili cook-offs and things like that. But really, our mission is to support small business
Sure.
through connection and advocacy.
But you do that through all the other things that you
I
do,
know,
even the chili
I know
cook-off.
that.
You're
even
doing
the chili
that.
cook-off,
That's right.
I know. But
So,
this is really focuses in
Core mission.
on those those businesses at Business to Business Expo. So again, this is only the second year of this, and we see these events kind of pick up some momentum and grow, and every year we learn what could we do better in the following year. So we've made some changes this year, and we're excited about it.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
and now it's standing on its own in early June.
That's
So
right.
June the 6th. There
June
you go.
6th.
Mark your calendars. And again, the full day event pretty much, and then the business after hours
Yep,
as well.
exactly.
So excellent.
Thank
All
you.
right. Let's switch gears
Yes,
just a little
let's do
bit
it.
to Leadership San Juan. It is an organization that's both near and dear to both of our hearts. I think
Yes.
all of our hearts in this studio this morning, because of all the great work that it does in the community and has done for, gosh, it's got to be going on 25 years
well,
or something. 29 maybe? That
I know
probably sounds about
Darren
right.
graduated in 2010.
Okay.
Darren, my husband, Darren.
Yes.
So it's been going on for a long time. And so this year it was finally, the time was right for me for a number of circumstances, but this was the year
Right.
for me to get into Leadership San Juan. We actually started in 2023 with a retreat in September, and then we had a fairly large class. I think it's the largest class ever.
was pretty
with
large.
31, I believe,
Yeah.
30 or 31.
Right.
And there was a retreat, and then we were divided into project groups, try to mix of personalities and leadership types. And so we broke into project groups, and I just thought it would be fun now that graduation is over to kind of talk about what our projects are, because I'm pretty impressed with all the projects that everybody did.
Me too.
So,
and they're all kind of designed to be kind of community projects and
Right.
and self-sustaining, I think, over
Yes.
some time. So they're not just this year and then they're
Right.
gone.
Right.
And that's all very, very important things. And as I look at the poster that I actually downloaded today, it says 35 years Leadership San
Oh,
Juan.
there you go, 35.
And there's been more than 780 graduates. So
That's
kudos
right.
to all of you who are now part of that graduating class.
Oh,
I am the
excited.
class of 2008, best class ever.
okay, best class ever.
yeah.
Well, it was the best class ever till 2024. But
I
okay,
see.
yeah,
Okay.
see, all right.
I gotcha.
But
I gotcha. So you brought some guests with you this morning,
I
and
did.
there's another guest waiting in the wings, as
Yes.
they say.
Right.
But we want to bring you on to talk about your projects, fellow guests. And so, without any further ado, Melissa Meehan, I know you have been here before, talking about your project. I invited you on back during the end of the school year because your project dealt with high school seniors, if I remember correctly.
Yes, and we were looking for applicants at that time. And so what we did is we created a program called Grad Snaps, graduation snapshots and photographs for seniors. And we were able to serve 11 kids this year. We were targeting youth who just wouldn't have that opportunity. So we didn't, every scholarship, every program has all this extensive criteria. And our criteria was simple. If your counselor can tell us at school that you're in a position that you need this, then we would make it work. And we were able to take 11 kids. We had 15 photographers that were willing, which is an amazing feat. And
Right.
so unfortunately, not every photographer got to have a student this year. But we had kids from the full spectrum. I mean, we had 3 kids who are homeless seniors. We had a student whose family is dealing with a serious medical condition. We had a family who has gone through a recent, very difficult divorce. Several kids named COVID as a barrier to them being successful, having to make up credits. A couple kids had learning disabilities that really made it difficult for them. So the kids that we did get were very deserving and very appreciative of the program.
Nice. And it sounds to me like all these kids, the idea of getting senior pictures was very low on the priority list, maybe for their families, because they might have been dealing with some other pretty serious stuff. And so to have this kind of come out and say, hey, we can take care of this for you, was a pretty nice thing.
Exactly.
In their senior year, right?
Yeah, senior pictures now run, I think, starting at $250 for some of the photographers that we had, because we had some great photographers. Dean Howard, of course, is one of my favorites always.
San Juan College instructor.
San Juan College instructor, yes.
yes.
And I think his photos for a full shoot is like $350 or $400. And so for a family, that's not disposable income for many, many people. And it was kind of cool. One of the students in his application, because we didn't ask the normal questions. We didn't ask, how much does your family make? We didn't ask, do you own a home? We asked, why do you deserve this? What was the challenge that prevented you, almost stopped you from graduating? What's going on in your life, that kind of stuff. And one of the students, the question was, why would this mean something to you, or something to that effect? You know, why would this be important to you? And he said, because when I told my parents I didn't want senior pictures, I lied. And it would mean the world to me to be able to document this moment.
Oh,
So,
right.
yeah, I mean, just
make
take your heart, exactly.
Yeah, right, just squish it up and throw it.
Yeah, and there are so, I mean, every application was like that.
Right.
I probably have 30 statements that I could tell you right now that just will make you want to cry and make you so appreciative that these kids are where they're at and that they've made it this far.
Right. And so how did you come up with the idea, and you maybe being the group of you all from Leadership San Juan, who came up with that idea to kind of target these students and come up with a project that would actually give them these senior photos year after year, hopefully, right? As it goes
Yeah,
forward.
and actually San Juan Rotary, just to back up a smidge, San Juan Rotary is picking it up, so
Nice.
we will be running it again in the fall.
Okay.
And hopefully going forward forever. So,
Terrific.
coming up with it, it was my idea. Several of us in our group brought project ideas to the table, and I think that's what happened with most groups. It was like, what do you think we should do? And then you have to sit down, and like Jamie said, we're with 8 different people, and we actually do personality tests. So they broke us up by personality types.
Right.
So you're with people that don't necessarily think and operate the same way as you, and so it brings a variety of thoughts and ideas, and then you have to sit and kind of whittle through all those ideas and figure out which one of these is the best or the most doable. We had some great ideas, so it's not that it was the best, but you have roughly 9 months, 8
Yeah.
months to pull this off, plus a $500
can we do it?
budget.
Can we? Yeah.
Yeah, and can we do it? Do we have the time? You know, these are all leaders in the community, so everybody's busy people.
So this is the one that kind of rose to the
This
top,
is the
if
one
you
that
will,
rose to
right?
the top, correct. And I don't know where the idea came from. I just kind of woke up at the retreat and it was in my head. And,
Okay.
and you know, I grew up a little challenged, we'll say. And so, you know, I saw a lot of kids that didn't have opportunities like that. So maybe that was the root of it. I don't know.
Okay. But thank you, I think, thank you for bringing this to the community and to these 11 high school seniors whose lives you changed for the better with this project.
Yeah, three of them from the homeless teen program. Their coordinator, I guess, visited them last week, and she sent me a really lovely text and just said, you know, I saw my 3 clients today. They each gave me a senior photo, because Walgreens at East Main, got to give them props, gave us an amazing photo package for these kids at cost, which is
print
what
them.
our budget went to.
Okay.
And so they were able to go get prints and a canvas and announcements, and so they all gave her a copy of their senior photo, and she said that it just meant the world to them. You could tell that it was just such a big deal for them.
Terrific. Well, again, thank you very much, and
Glad to
thank
be
you
a part
for
of
sharing that with us this morning, and of course for putting it together, and for being a part of the Leadership San Juan organization now as you move forward. You're
Absolutely.
now an alumni, right?
Yeah, best year ever.
Okay, if you say so. All right. Well, very good. Well, thank you for being here this morning. Really
Glad to
appreciate
be
it.
here. Thanks for having me. Thank you,
Jamie Church, that's just one of the
Yes.
projects, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting. The photography for senior photos now is so cool. I'm on my 40th high school graduation committee, and I'm
Impossible.
working on the
Impossible.
social media. Oh, no, not impossible.
Impossible.
So I'm spending a lot of time taking screenshots out of my yearbook, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, our senior photos were not nearly as cool as these photos
no,
today.
that's
They're-
true.
But yes,
I have
so-
daguerreotypes for mine, so
Yeah.
that's me. But okay.
I know. It's like, gosh, they do great photos now, but super cool project. And then I also brought my friend Sunny with her
Yes.
project that she did, and she'll talk more about that. And then if we have time, I'll talk about my project, but I really want to hear from,
Okay.
people to hear about these projects. as
Very
well.
good.
So-
Well, let's bring Sonny into the conversation
Yes.
this morning. Sonny Rodriguez is here to talk about your project with Leadership San Juan and your group, right? And so again, same kind of size of a group with very strong personalities, maybe all kind of bringing ideas to the table, I suppose.
Yeah. So
Nice,
my group, we worked with the San Juan County Adult Detention Center.
right?
And our focus was everyone who enters, and when they leave, they're provided the items, resources, and information that they may need coming back into the community. So
Gotcha.
we coordinated with a lot of different resources and community agencies here in town that work with detainees, or I just say individuals coming back into the communities, because
Right.
so
And
our
the idea was that when they come into the jail and then they leave the jail, the responsibility is just to get them out the door, and then the responsibility kind of stops. And so the person needs to figure out transportation and housing and maybe clothing and all.
and figure out their court documents. So most of them are released after going to court, and
Right.
they're only given a small piece of paper of what went on in court. And so from court to being released, that small piece of paper could disappear. And so we concentrated on getting that information right away. And so we did a resource wall for brochure racks that are specific to what they may see on their court documents, what they're required to do, their conditions of release. And so it's right there before they're even leaving the building. We also did a 5-minute film kind of describing the different types of probation. Because what I've seen happen is people are a little bit confused about different types of probation. They may end up in Aztec when they were supposed to go to Farmington. And so we made a film with San Juan College Media,
Nice.
actually. It's a great film. It's running on a loop at the detention center. And that explains the probation, community resources, so the Mental Wellness Resource Center has a little spot in there, and then how to apply for a public defender.
Nice.
We also were able to, by an anonymous donor, get a charging station. So a lot of the times you've spent some days in the detention center, you come out, and how are you supposed to make phone calls or get where you need to be, or
You
call
get your
the
property
bus?
back, but your phone's maybe
Your phone is
uncharged.
dead.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah.
And-
So anonymous donor was able to get that up there, and it's going well. And we just had a ribbon cutting last week.
Congratulations.
And our hope is that this little spark will eventually grow into something bigger and help with the recidivism rates here in San Juan County.
Very good. And it sounds like it was really well needed, too,
Mm-hmm.
for these folks who are leaving the detention center. And, of course, your line of work, you have a little bit of insight as to maybe what's needed by these folks and the kind of the questions maybe that they have when they're released.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with your group, I guess, who came up with the idea? Was this coming from you or some others?
Yeah, so when my day job, I work with individuals who, made some choices and they're coming back into the community. And so I was able to see the need for this that it hasn't been provided. There's just a big gap. We have community resources that do this, but, the detention center is not in the city. And so there's just a big gap and some cracks. And so we just wanted to provide some little stepping stones to the next step that they need to.
Right. Right. It's of course it's on Crotch Mesa, as you mentioned, and so it's kind of out. And if you don't have resources or transportation or whatever, you're it's kind of a walk to get to anywhere really from where you are out there. And so this kind of makes sense. And I guess maybe with the probation side of it, maybe there's a lot of things where maybe if it's not done exactly correct, a person might be in a little bit of trouble for doing things out of order or going to the wrong office or what have you, and that doesn't help either, right?
The biggest thing I saw is people would get a bus pass to check in with probation or where they needed to check in, but they would go to the wrong building. And so there's 4 or 5 different probations. There's adult probation and parole. There's PTS, which is pretrial services, magistrate compliance. So there's all these different ones, and they're all in different areas of the county. And so we just wanted to make sure that we give them that information right away and hopefully help them in the way they need to come back into the community successfully.
Nice. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that this morning. And again, this is a permanent installation at the detention center, and so it's going to be available into the future, and hopefully folks can update their brochures and the information if things change so that those inmates, those folks that are there, get the latest information.
Yeah, our hope is for it to continue.
Very good. And a partnership with the county and Leadership San Juan, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, and there's tons of agencies and community resources who have stepped up to provide brochures and information and wanting to do more. And so we're going to be getting this going and hopefully help the county a little bit more.
Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing that this morning. Appreciate it very much. And Jamie Church will bring in our final guest this morning, right?
Right.
And Nick Burrell is here. Nick is also a member of the class of 2024. Almost the best class ever, but it's okay. It's all right. But Nick, talk to us a little bit about your project, if you wouldn't mind.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Good morning.
So our project team partnered with San Juan County in the implementation of a grant the county received from the New Mexico Environment Department through their recycling and illegal dumping program. The project was to create a youth activity book targeted at K through 3 students to promote recycling, reuse, composting, and prevent littering and illegal dumping. It's part of our broader initiative the county has, their Make a Shine initiative, which is a three-headed approach to combating litter and illegal dumping here in our county. Those three heads being education, remediation, and as well as enforcement. So what really revealed itself to me, what made this a great leadership San Juan project, is the reach that the organization has. The county is a government entity, doesn't typically work with children day to day, but many current and former leadership San Juan graduates do. So since we've completed this book, I had any number of folks reach out to me looking for copies of this book. We produced 6,000. I think I've been able to hand out 1,000 already to organizations like the Growing Forward Farms and Aztec, San Juan County Sheriff's Office. One of our group members, Marie Johnson, is actually the student nutrition coordinator for the Farmington Municipal Schools. She has a plan to hand these out in home delivery meals to kids over the summer. So along with their lunch, they'll get an activity book,
Nice.
something to do, something to learn. Another thing that's unique about the book is there's something for the parents there too. The cover is a hardstock. I actually have a copy with me.
Nice, right? Very good.
The front and back cover is a map of the county that has all the locations where you can dispose of your trash or recycling. And then the inside front and back covers have addresses and hours of those locations, as well as the rules that apply for each of them. So
Smart.
Something for the kids and something for the parents.
Very good. Well, it sounds like a great project. And again, I guess like trying to get the information to the kids in younger years that may instill some positive habits, I guess, as they get older. Is that the kind of the idea too?
Absolutely, Scott. Again, you said it best. The goal is to stem what may be a generational issue where it's been acceptable for folks to throw their trash either on public lands that are managed by the BLM or just out the window of their car. The more children we can impact with a book like this, solves that problem in the future.
Right. And going forward, is there a way to kind of keep this going with these other partners, whether it's the school districts or other entities?
Sure. So again, with this single grant produced, I think 6,500 copies of the book. We retain the copyright of it to produce more. But you'll see distribution at events like the county fair, Riverfest. But again, looking for opportunities with folks on, again, current and future classes that work with kids day to day to get these in the right hands.
Very cool. Well, congratulations. And by owning the copyright, you're talking about the county, right? Not
The
Leadership San Juan. This is a
not
county
Leadership
thing.
San Juan, the county. So the county has an annual operating budget for recycling and illegal dumping prevention. So they're prepared to produce books, as needed year to year.
Sure. And do you think with the success of this project, maybe there's other grant opportunities to fund this going forward as well, perhaps?
So full disclosure, I do work for the county. This was a grant that I wrote and applied for. We have been a recipient of a RAID grant, Recycling and Illegal Dumping grant, for I think 5 years running now. Those monies have been used for billboard and print promotions, to actual purchase of capital equipment to assist in the cleanup efforts that we do. Money that's offset the disposal costs of those cleanups. And this was the first year we did a youth education campaign. But again, I think next year we'll come up with another project that fits into the overall plan.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And again, thank you for coming in to talk to us about your project. And that leaves us with Jamie Church.
Yeah.
Last but not least,
That's all right.
of course, we have a few minutes remaining.
Okay, great. So again, this is Leadership San Juan. So we had our group decided to work with Shiprock High School, and we worked with the students out there to construct a hoop house or a greenhouse. So we had our group out there for 2 days, and a hoop house essentially was built with some PVC pipe and rebar and then wood, and you created like a greenhouse. And then raised beds as well. So these students are within the FFA program or the ag program there. And so it'll be sustainable with the future classes going through at Shiprock High School. Lots of things like starting seeds, and they'll have community garden and work within their school. Maybe some of the food can be used in the school, like
Right.
in the cafeteria.
Nice.
Classes, all sorts of things could be built from this. But again, sort of helping connect students to where their food comes from. How do you grow food? Sustainable composting, definitely a piece of that as well. So really fun project to do. I love gardening, so it was sort of right at my alley.
Right.
Our biggest challenge was weather. We had a lot of windy, cold days, but we got it done. So
Good for
It
you.
was a great project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very sustainable.
And again, these students will be able to continue to use it as years go on, and
Yeah.
and be able to plant and watch these things grow and extend the growing season, because they
Exactly.
can get started a little earlier and
Yeah,
things
I
like
think
that.
it's going to be put in as part of their curriculum as well. That the whole hoop house, and so again, I think future Leadership San Juan classes might even be able to get involved. It is a project that is going to need some maintenance over time because it is outside. It is a structure outside. So I think there's opportunity for other Leadership San Juan classes to get involved. Maybe construct a second one alongside. But great project and just a fun group of people to work with. Again, a lot of different leadership types, but we all came together and it was a great idea, and we had a really fun time putting it together.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
And again, this is just one example of what Leadership San Juan does each and every year
That's
with
right.
4 projects like this that are somewhat life-changing for residents and continue to give back year after year after year. And I think that's a great thing.
Right. And again, they need to be sustainable. You brought that up. It can't just be a project that's like a one-time, we're going to do this. We want them, people are putting a lot of effort into these projects. And so they do want them to be something that is sustainable and will be able to be continued. And it's fun when you get your group together and there's all these ideas, and then just through, like, as Melissa was saying, what is the most realistic to do? And it was fun to do a project in Shiprock. I mean, at Shiprock High School. And I think the students really, they helped. They were part of the building and the construction of this.
Nice.
So they were out there. They were helping us to put these raised beds together. And so they were definitely a part of it. It wasn't just us coming in and doing it. It was definitely a collaborative effort between the Leadership San Juan project group and the students and their teacher out there, Vicki Lake, as well.
Awesome.
So it was great.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. And I think we can all agree that if folks are interested in learning more about Leadership San Juan, this is the time to apply for next year's class.
That's right. I think the deadline is actually May 15th,
Tomorrow.
which is tomorrow. And so there is an application process, and then there's an interview process, and then there's a retreat, and it's great, especially if you have I've been in the community a long time. I still learned a lot about the community. I met a lot of people I didn't know. For me, that was the best part of the year. But
Because you know everybody.
Well,
And the
I
fact
thought
that you
I
met
did.
people that you
I
didn't
thought I
already
did, and
know.
then I walked into
Yeah.
a room with like 25 people I didn't know, which was
Right.
very refreshing.
Right.
But it is a great way. You have different days. So one day was Education Day, one day was Government Day, one day was Criminal Justice, one day was Media, Arts,
Okay, thank you.
Media and
Okay, just
Culture.
gotta make sure we got there.
I
Okay.
knew. I wasn't
Yes.
going to leave you out. But you learn about these different sectors within San Juan County and
right.
how they all work together, and then how they affect you and how you can positively impact and engage with them. So
Right.
it was great.
Very good. And I feel the same way. I thought I knew everything,
Yeah.
at being here for so long as a reporter and talking to people
Yep.
and knowing everybody, and still people that I knew that I hadn't met, and stuff that I learned that I didn't know. And a lot of the sessions, I would say, are kind of big picture things too. It's like we
Right.
know, when we hear about in the news about government and education and media, but what's the big picture stuff?
What's the big
What's
picture?
happening over time? What's the next 10 years look like, or
Right.
5 years look like? And that's what I
Exactly.
thought was so insightful and
Right.
interesting. So-
Exactly. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
check out more information, everyone. If you are interested, we can't say enough of good things about Leadership San Juan, all of us. So check it out online, leadershipsanjuan.com, 505-320-2236. And like we said, the application deadline is tomorrow, but I bet they might be able to stretch it just a little
I
bit if
think
you
so.
call them
Yep.
and let them know that you are interested.
I've got one more thing I have
Yes.
to say.
What do you
One
got?
more shout out.
Okay.
And you're going to love it. So
All right.
I got to give a shout out to my sister, Jessica Pilati, who was
Yes.
nominated for Citizen of the Year by the Aztec Chamber of
That's
Commerce.
right.
So she was nominated for Citizen of the Year with a number of other great citizens in Aztec and businesses. But I have to
Estetians,
give
is that what we say?
What?
Of Citizens of Aztec, or Estetians?
Yes, Aztecians.
Yes.
And they're going to be doing a banquet in June. But so shout out to Aztec Chamber for their upcoming banquet. But I had to give a special to my sister because I'm
Very
pretty
good.
proud of her. So
Well,
I
yeah,
know.
and she's a pretty cool person.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
And a graduate of Leadership San Juan. May I
See?
say?
There you
say
go.
that too.
Perfect. Well, excellent. Well, thank you for being here, everybody.
you.
Thank you for coming in and sharing your project. projects with us. Lots of great lives have been changed and things going forward. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Good to see you all. Thank you very much. My guest this morning from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce and Leadership San Juan here on KSJE.